Hello viewers, my name is Numisa Malashe from Blysuit Institute. Welcome to ECDoE Broadcast Studio. Today's lesson is about public sector. I will be covering 3 subtopics back to back for your full understanding. The first topic is public sector, composition of public sector, necessity of public sector, objectives of public sector. Then the topic, as I have said, the topic outline is public sector, composition of public sector, necessity of public sector, objectives of public sector.
Thank you.
Let us describe public sector. Public sector, it is made up of economy that is including of public services and public enterprises. Public enterprises, what are the public enterprises? Are the state-owned businesses where government has got a full ownership in those type of businesses. I can give you example of SABC. That is an example of state-owned enterprise. Then let's look at composition of public sector. Public sector consists of 3 spheres. What are those spheres? Number 1, we've got central or national government. Central or national government. What is this government is all about? It is concerned with issues that affect the country as the whole. The country as the whole, such as education, defense, and health. In this government, it is the rulership of the government in the national level, where we see, as the example says here, the Department of Education. We've got the Minister of Education. In our case, as South Africans, our Minister of Education is Minister Kwahome. So let's move to provincial government. Provincial government is concerned with administration of the provinces and economic issues specific to the region. In South Africa, we've got 9 provinces. Each province has got their own premiers. So what it means in our province, which is the province of Eastern Cape, there is Premier Oscar Mabuyane, who is responsible for all the administration of Eastern Cape together with his cabinet. So they are dealing with the economy of the region, which is the Eastern Cape in this government of the province. Then let's look at a local government, which is the 3rd sphere. Local government is responsible for local issues within town for municipal area. So in our area where we live, there is also government there who is looking for our villages, for our townships, for our towns. So municipality of our region our municipality has to make it a point that everything goes well. So what I'm trying to say, government, there is no government rules in 3 categories: central, provincial, and local government. Necessity of public sector. Why is it necessary to have public sector or to have government? It is necessary because government provides public goods. Government conserve natural resources, and government intervene into the economy. Then let's go to number 1, which says government provides public goods. What are these public goods that government has to provide? Public goods refers to goods and services provided by the state for the use by all members of the society. So in other words, government has to provide public goods for the citizens or any members of the society. If we are talking about excludability. It means that consumption can't be confined to those who pay for it. Like, for example, free riders can use them, e.g. radio and television. What does it mean? It means that someone can buy television or radio, but household and other members or neighbors, they can watch television or they can listen to radio, even if they have not paid for it. Then non-rivalry. Consumption by one person does not reduce the availability to others, e.g. lighthouse. So it means that if I am consuming the product, it doesn't mean someone who is next to me, the product is going to be smaller. So a non-rival consumption by one person does not reduce the availability to others. Then let's go to the characteristics number 3, non-rejectability. Non-rejectability. Individuals are not able to abstain from consumption, e.g. street lights. So you are not exempted to use this type of product. Even if, like the example that is here, it says street lights. Even if I don't want lights, but as long as I am using that street, I cannot be exempted in that street light. Provide public goods. Number 2, to conserve resources. Government has to intervene to protect natural resources, e.g. ocean for fishing, the air we breathe. So government has to make sure that he protects, he looked after natural resources so that they cannot be used up. Government must intervene by making laws and setting up legal structures to protect the environment. Maybe government can bring up the laws such as environmental tax or green taxes, or laws such as charging for the use of environment. In that way, it can make the business at least to reduce the level of polluting the environment, the level of damaging the environment, if ever they are charged for damaging the environment, or if ever they are taxed for damaging the environment. So number 3, to manage the economy. So that's number 3. Government applies suitable, credible economic and development policies in order to achieve microeconomic objectives. Limit anti-competitive behavior. So government has to intervene again in the economy to make it a point that we've got a stable economy by putting the policies that are suitable for achieving microeconomic objectives. Some of the policies that the government can include are fiscal policies, where he put taxations and government expenditure. We are going to explain later about those policies. Then he has to limit anti-competitive behavior, because if ever we've got businesses like monopoly where there is no competition, it means that it is going to deprive the right of consumers, where consumers, they are supposed to have a freedom of choice. And also, if ever there are no competition, it means that consumers will buy products at a higher prices, and of course they can get those products at poor quality because there are no competition. So government has to make it a point that he's limiting those anti-competitive, like the monopolies that can be in the country. Then those were the necessity, if I'm trying to recap, those were the necessity of public sector, where it is necessary for the economy or for the country to have government, because I have said to you that government, he has to provide public goods. Government, he has to conserve resources. Government, he has to manage the economy. So if we've got that government, it means everything is sorted. Wherever there is a need for the goods to be provided, government provide goods. Wherever there is a need for the protection of environment, protection of natural resources, government is there to conserve those natural resources. And then he has to chip in again in the economy to make it a point that we've got a stable economy, we've got economic growth, we've got economic development. So those are the most important points about the necessity of public sector. So let's move to the next slide, which is objectives of public sector and its budget. Objectives of public sector and its budget. Government has got objectives. What are the objectives? Objectives are aims that government wants to achieve, be it in a long run or in a short run. But government has got objectives or aim that he wants to achieve. Then what are those objectives? Objective number one is economic growth. If we can describe economic growth or the keywords that makes economic growth, it is an increase in the production of goods and services by a country in a year. So if a country has got many firms of businesses that produce goods and services, what it means is it's going to lead to economic growth, because there are many firms, there are many businesses that are produce goods and services. And the one of the keyword of economic growth, it says it's I just want to highlight this, is an increase in the production of goods and services. Then the second point, it says it is measured by the real GDP. So we see that there is an economic growth or economic decline by real GDP, where we'll see that what is GDP. If ever we are explaining GDP, GDP is the total amount of value of all goods produced within the boundaries of a country during 1 year. So if there's a value, there's an increase in value of goods that has been produced within the country, it means that it is the economic growth. And then if we say that it is measured by real GDP, it means that it is measured by the actual figures where the inflation has been considered. Then growth and development benefit the citizens because it leads to a higher standard of living. If there is economic growth, it will lead to economic development, because if there are many businesses that are producing goods and services, what it means, there is going to be a need for people, or it's going to create job opportunities. Should people work and then they get income, they spend on buying goods and services, of course, the standard of living is going to change. So economic growth, it leads to economic development, whereby people, they change their standard of living because they've got better income now. So their consumption has changed to be better. So let us just explain employment. It's when all people who wants to work, who are looking for work, must be able to get work. That is employment. If people, they are looking for work, and if people, they are able, they are fit, physically and mentally fit to work, they should get work and also be compensated by the income, where we can say it can be wages and salaries. Then the aim of government is to create decent job. It is very important to government to make it a point that at least if people are working, at least they must get decent job and also decent wages. Hence, he's bringing the minimum wage, at least even if you are a domestic work, or even if you are an unskilled worker, at least you should get a decent salary or wages. That is the aim of government. And then another aim, government can provide incentive to businesses to invest in those industries which employ a lot of people. So another initiative that government makes is to make it a point that he gives money to the businesses, which are the incentives. Yes, the incentives to businesses so that those industries, they can produce more because they are assisted by the government to make it a point that they are employing more people. So government provide employment, as government is an employer, and also government make it a point that he assists other businesses. Then the third one is to maintain price stability. Price stability occurs when price of goods changes by smaller percentage. So we are saying price are stable if ever if the price changes at least are not that high, then we can say that they are stable. Stable price leads to better results in terms of job creation and economic growth, of course. If ever prices are low, what it means is that the demand for goods and services is going to be high, and the firms, they are going to need more people because there's going to be a need for higher production. Therefore, that is why we are saying it creates job opportunities and economic growth. Then we've got South African Reserve Bank, which he has got the target, which is between 3 and 6% to maintain the price. Number 4, exchange rate stability. The government should manage the economy through fiscal and monetary policy. Depreciation and appreciation of the currency create uncertainties for producers and traders and should be limited. So government has to make it a point that he limit the fluctuation of the currency. He has to make it a point that at least the currency is maintained so that education, which are primary health, and also to finance the economic services, e.g., giving them cash grant to those who are poor. So by doing that, government is trying to at least to close the gap between to those who are poor and those who are rich, that is why we are saying it is equality. And yeah, that is all I can say for today about public sector, where we have learned about the composition of public sector, that is 3 spheres, central or national, regional or provincial, and local government. We have learned about the necessity, it is necessary to have a government because it provides public goods, conserve natural resources, and intervene in the economy, and also the objectives of public sector, the aims of public sector, which are, I've already discussed, there are 5. Then we have come to the end of our lesson. You can leave your question on the comments. Do not forget to leave the name of your school so we can give you a shout out. Please share, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel. Thank you for watching. See you on our next lesson.